Ever since man first learned to freeze time in the form of photographs, there are those that have used this medium as a means to try to break through and contact the other side. In the 19th century, spiritualist mediums claimed photographs were showing spectral visitors from another plane. In the mid-20th century, a man named Ted Sirius claimed to be able to project his thoughts and feelings straight onto film. In the 21st century, paranormalist Andrew Main discovers a new way to break through to the other side.
Do you ever get the feeling you're not alone, even though there's nobody else in the room? They're always there, hiding in the shadows. Sometimes they try to cross over. If you want to help them, I'll show you how. All you have to do is take a photo. It doesn't even have to be your camera. They're waiting for you. Sometimes, if you look closely enough, you can actually capture them moving. They're waiting for you. Ghost vision is a way to make spooky images, words, and even pictures appear as if they've been transmitted from beyond. You don't have to use your own cell phone, simply borrow one that has a built-in camera phone. You don't have to prepare it in advance, just borrow it and you're ready to go. The concept behind ghost vision has been used before to actually fool scientists and other people into believing that they've seen real photographs of ghosts and spirits. It's that powerful when used correctly. The method for ghost vision is essentially invisible. You look clean at all times. Simply borrow the phone, capture the image, and return the phone. Your hands look totally clean throughout the effect. Ever since people first started taking pictures, they started capturing images of strange things. Some things people claimed were spirits or messages from the other side. In the 1960s and 70s, some people claimed to actually be able to project their own thoughts and images onto camera film. They'd borrow a camera from somebody, hold it, take a picture, and then hand the camera back to them. When they take that film into the darkroom and develop it, strange images would appear. Ghost vision is a modernized version of that effect. It takes it in the 21st century. You can use camera phones, digital cameras, and other kinds of portable electronic devices that can take digital images. Ghost vision is a great effect that you can use in a lot of different places. You can use it late at night if you want to freak out your friends. You can use it in a close-up situation to do a revelation or a prediction in a way that'll freak out your audience. There's an infinite variety of applications for ghost vision, ranging from the simply odd to the totally freaky. I'm going to show you a few of my favorites, and I'm sure you'll be able to come up with some of your own. It's late at night. You ask to borrow somebody's camera phone, and right there in front of them, you pick up their phone, turn it into the camera mode, aim it into a dark corner where maybe there's a little bit of light, and take a picture. And you hand the phone back to them. And what do they see? A very scary image. Or with everyone watching, you aim the camera at a portion of the room where it's rumored that something tragic happened. And there, before their eyes, they see a spooky image cross the screen. And you save it as a movie that they can play over and over again and freak out their friends. You have somebody think of a word or a card, and then you take a photo using their camera phone of some random place in the room. You then show the photo to them, and it reveals what they're thinking of. The method for ghost vision is relatively simple. You have to place something between the camera lens and what you're taking a picture of to create the strange image. In this case, we use a special gimmick to accomplish this. A gimmick that, for all intents and purposes, is essentially invisible. In fact, I have it on me right now. Although my hands look empty, they're not. Hidden here is a nearly invisible gimmick that allows me to accomplish ghost vision. It's a piece of clear plastic with an image on it. When placed in front of the camera lens, creates strange photographs or moving images. It's so small and easy to hide, you don't really need to worry about ditching it, because throughout the effect, your hands look totally clean and you have it ready whenever you need. Get rid of it whenever you feel like it, but you don't have to feel any pressure because it's invisible. Now, I have to confess that although I've played with this effect for nearly a decade, it wasn't until recently that I came up with what I think is perhaps the best way to hide the gimmick like this. Up until then, I'd played with different versions of it using pieces of elastic thread, using methods of sleeving, or trying to disguise the gimmick as something else. Then one day it struck me that maybe just make the gimmick into something like a cigarette catcher, like this. That way the gimmick can slide up and down off of the finger, yet remain totally invisible until you need it. Sometimes things are worth waiting for, but maybe 10 years is a bit much. To prepare the gimmick, you're going to need a few materials. You'll need the piece of transparency film that I included pre-printed with the DVD, some tape, some grown-up scissors, and a pen if you want to make your own gimmick. Now, when you look at the film, the first thing you'll notice, besides that some things have already been printed onto it, is that one side is smooth and one side is rough. This is so you can put an image onto one side, either using a pen, or if you get a larger sheet at an office supply store, you can feed this through an inkjet printer and do your own special designs. We'll start off by making the shadow gimmick. That's the weird, strange figure that appears to move across the screen. What you need to do is cut that in a long strip out of that piece of film that came with it, so it should be about maybe 3 inches long and look like this. If you round the corners of your gimmick, it'll help hide the edges in your photo. After you've cut this piece, you're going to cut another piece maybe about 1 inch across, like so, and we're going to use this as a clip on our finger. First step is to tape this to here. Just use a piece of tape. It doesn't have to be double stick tape or anything fancy. Just tape it on there. Use your scissors if you want to trim off the extra. Like that. And you should have what looks like an upside down T. Once you have your T, you're going to bend the bottom part, this part, around so it'll curve around your middle finger. You don't have to do the version with the shadow on it. You can do other versions as well. You'll see that one of the things I pre-printed for you is a card, in this case the 7 of clubs. If you want to make your own specialty gimmick, you can either get a transparency sheet and print something on it using an inkjet printer, or you can cut a blank strip like one of these and then use a pen or a magic marker to draw something on it. If you wanted to do, let's say, a book test on somebody before you perform and have them choose a word and you were able to secretly get that word, you could then draw that word on the gimmick like so. Let's say the word was dog. Ideally, you want them to choose a word that doesn't have too many letters, because you'll see that if it's too big of a word, it might not all fit on the screen. If you're having trouble writing the word with a regular pen, you can use a magic marker, fine tip point to write on here. After you've made a few gimmicks and you want to keep them stored safely, just take an empty card box and place them inside. Before you use one of the gimmicks, you want to just give the clip a little bit of a squeeze so it'll fit snugly around your finger. So, with a pair of scissors, one piece of tape, and a couple quick cuts, you have a gimmick and you're ready to perform the effect. All you need now is to borrow a cell phone with a camera on it. Once you've set up the gimmick, you're ready to learn how to use it. To practice with this, you're going to need a camera phone. Now, different camera phones have cameras in different places, but I found that handling different ones isn't that difficult. And a great way to learn how to use different camera phones is to go to a cell phone store and pick up the display models with your gimmick in your hand. You can pick them up and experiment with them and find out the different ways to use it. With the gimmick comfortably hidden on your hand, you're ready to begin the effect. Ask someone if you can borrow their camera phone. I usually take it with my left hand, leaving my right hand by my side. Once I have the camera phone in my hand, even if I'm familiar with it, I ask them, okay, which button do I press to turn it on to switch into camera mode? Once I have the camera phone in my left hand, I bring my right hand up to support the phone as I try and figure out the mysterious buttons on it. What I'm really doing here is I'm moving the gimmick up like so I can place that image right over the camera lens. Now you want to keep this part of the phone either away from the audience or to the side. From the side, well, it doesn't look like anything's going on there. It's essentially invisible. Now you can either use your thumb to push the gimmick up, or you can just clip the back of the gimmick with your left fingers. Whatever works easiest for you. Now you should be doing this dirty work away from the audience. You can do it like so, which just looks like you're looking at the camera, figuring out the buttons. Or you can turn your back towards the audience and look at it this way, but keep the image on the camera away from the audience. Once you have their phone in your hand and you're ready to position the gimmick, and you want to cover the screen or keep them from seeing the screen as you place it, it's very easy. Simply bring your left hand up here as if you're trying to hold the phone and position it. Once I have the gimmick near the lens, I look at the image and make sure I have it in just the right position. Changing the distance between the gimmick and the lens will affect the size and clarity of the image. Once it's there, I can either snap a photo of it, or I can call their attention to the image and make the shadow in a mysterious way. After I've made that shadow pass across the screen and either taken a photo or made a movie of it, I'm ready to hand the camera phone back to the person who lent it to me. Before I do this, I'm simply going to slide the gimmick back onto my finger like so. It's really easy and can be done in just one quick motion. Once this is done, I simply turn my body towards them and hand them the camera phone. I bring my right hand in a little bit like that so I don't flash the gimmick, and let it casually fall to my side as I hand them the phone. Now all the attention is going to be on the phone. Everybody's going to want to see the image that's on there or the movie you just made. Don't worry about getting rid of the gimmick anytime soon. Just act natural. Remember, the gimmick is essentially invisible. Now the images are going to come out a little bit blurry. That's fine, you want that. That's going to make the effect feel really supernatural. If the images came out too perfect, too crisp, well, it'd feel too artificial. You want this to look like something really paranormal. Now here's the routine broken down into 5 easy steps. Step 1. Have the gimmick comfortably hidden on your middle finger. Step 2. Borrow a camera phone from someone. If you're not familiar with how the camera phone works, ask them to show you first. That way you can see where the buttons are and you won't have to fumble around with it. Step 3. As you take the camera phone from them, turn your body towards the side and bring your right hand over the back of the camera phone and slide the gimmick into place. Just look at the screen to see if you have the shadow in the right spot. Step 4. Once you've placed the image where you need it to be, if you want to make it go across the screen, if you're making a movie or having them look right at the image display here, simply center it and then push it slightly off to the side and then call their attention to the screen or start recording the movie. And then slowly, without your fingers obviously moving, bring the image across the screen. If you're just taking a photo, place the image in the center of the screen and snap the photo button. Step 5. After you've made your movie, made your photo, or had them look at the screen as the image moves across the screen, you're ready to hand the phone back to them. Simply slide the gimmick back onto your middle finger as you turn your body around and hand the phone to them. Let your right hand casually fall to your side. And there you have it, you're clean. Well, clean enough. When you do the version of Ghost Vision where you reveal a thought of card, word, or image, perhaps the strongest way to do the revelation is to take a picture of their hand. After you borrow the cell phone from the person and place the gimmick into position, take their hand and hold the cell phone over their hand without them seeing the image and snap a photo of it. When they see the photo of the word or image they're thinking of on their hand, it's a pretty disturbing image. It's also something they're going to keep in their cell phone for a long time. In the bonus section of this DVD, I'll show you a very easy way to force a word or image on a spectator without any pre-show work. I'll also show you a way to force a card if you're unfamiliar with doing card forces. There are 3 points to focus on to make this a killer effect. The first point is to remember your angles. After you've borrowed the camera phone from them, and you've placed it in position and you're ready to take that photo, but you don't want them to see the screen yet, simply bring your left hand up over here to the side and stabilize the camera with it. This allows you to look at the screen, to get it into the right position to place your gimmick over the lens, and keep the audience from seeing it until you're ready. To them, it's just a natural way to sort of hold it. You're just trying to stabilize the camera phone. Once you're ready for them to look at it, just bring your left hand down and let them look at the screen, and then have the image move across. If you're going to do this as a prediction and you want to take the photo before you have everybody see it, just do the same thing. Bring your left hand up here, position everything without them being able to see the screen, and take a photo. The key is not to make it look like you're trying to hide it from them, is to make it look like your hand's here just because you're trying to stabilize it. At this point, you're still in their minds just monkeying around the phone trying to figure out all the fancy buttons. The second most important point is to remember your timing. You don't want to direct your audience's attention towards the image on the screen until you're ready to. If you're still placing the gimmick in front of the camera lens, you don't want them looking at the screen waiting for something to happen. You have a few moments here in which to fumble with the phone and pretend to figure out what the buttons are while you place the gimmick into position. You don't want to stretch it too long or things will look suspicious. So don't call their attention to there yet. You just want to wait a few moments once you have the gimmick where you need it to be. If you're going to do this as a revelation and take a photograph and then let people look at it moments later after you've had them pick a card that's actually forced or choose a forced word, well, then you can just take the photo whenever you see fit without letting them see the image on the screen, and then place the camera phone down on the table and wait to do the revelation. The third critical point is to be comfortable with the sleight of hand you have to do to accomplish this effect. Really, there's only one sleight involved here, and that's bringing the gimmick up into position here, and with both hands holding the phone, you can use 2 hands to do that. After that, you just slide it back down. Used at the right moment, Ghost Vision is an incredible tool that can create a powerful impact on your audience, making them think that perhaps they just saw something paranormal.